Hello and welcome to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Ryan. I am here with my two co-hosts, Josh and Ethan, and we are here finally 2023 rookie big boards. Well, rookie big board. We are so excited to give you guys this content and show off some of the rookies that were just drafted, and give our takes on where they went, see what kind of potential. We have our own little tier list for you, where we'll be putting them in each tier where we think their potential is, and where they think where we think their skill level is right now. So, and pretty much what they can be.
Well, and
So Josh, why don't you?
not
Oh,
not not just that, Ryan,
no, go ahead, E.
but
Go ahead.
it's also where we see them potentially performing in fantasy. So it's kind of
Hmm.
our combination because last year we did it as like a grade for all the factors, and we felt like it was a little misleading.
It didn't
So
tell the whole story, that's for sure.
right. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
fit the narrative that we wanted to portray of like sometimes it's bigger than just how good somebody is. Which was fine. It was a different take, but we wanted to do it a little bit more in line with how we see dynasty drafts specifically going, but also how you can calculate the value of some of these players into redraft.
Yeah, it's not only redraft,
Hmm.
where we have this focus as dynasty specific, but a lot of these players drafted is going to affect a 2 to 3 year window, and so our projections and our takes with our rookie board is thinking within a 2 to 3 year window.
Right.
So with that in mind, gentlemen, I s-
It's rookie month,
it is welcome to rookie
It's
month, everybody.
the official beginning, the
The
official.
official beginning. The first thing, I mean, even before we get to the board, if y'all haven't seen it, we did a draft live stream this year, guys. So we did round one, but any takes with day two, and day three that y'all want to share?
The Steelers hate Freiermuth.
Yep, that I got that one.
I
Tennessee
was
did want a QB. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, Tennessee eventually got a QB, but it was much later than pretty much everybody expected. So yeah, that's just kind of my take on it.
Atlanta took a run blocker. Who's surprised?
Nobody.
Nobody,
Yeah,
nobody was surprised by that pick.
surprisingly, this draft didn't have a lot of just like, wow, I didn't expect this team to take this person as
Yeah,
much as I thought.
so last year, I think was so unfortunate because we had all these crazy trades, like the Russell
Hmm.
Wilson trade and the AJ
Yeah,
Brown trade,
Tyreek
and on
Hill and
yeah, and the Tyreek Hill trade, and then multiple swapping around in the first round. And so I think this year we're like, oh man, how are they going to follow it up? And then they didn't.
they kind of I really the big one was Stroud. That was the one that threw me
Yeah,
for a
that
loop
was. I mean, they
because
started.
you got months. It was one of the greatest smoke screens I've ever seen from an NFL team. For months, you're like Will Anderson at two, Will Anderson at two.
Yeah.
Then they flip it. It's like Stroud, and everyone's like, "Excuse me."
Well, it was so great because they shocked the world by taking Stroud at 2, which no one thought they were gonna do. But wait, there's more.
Yeah, yeah,
Then they came back for Will Anderson, which was awesome. Um, now we'll see what they do with it. But
yeah. And the first team to draft two players in the top three in like 20 years.
Yeah,
So that
I
was
was about to
pretty
say it's
cool.
been a very, very long time. But yeah,
those are officially out.
yep, yep. I got the notification too.
Not to
Yep.
spoil what day it is or anything,
Yeah, that,
but schedules are officially out.
yep. No,
Yep.
I'm looking at. It's a very interesting schedule for a couple teams,
Yeah. Are
but
are we ready to
Well,
just
let's
kick the sucker off?
yeah,
yeah. Let's get on our
let's
big board.
Oh,
let's get things going.
one quick preface before we start. We are going to talk about some of these guys more in depth in the following videos. We're gonna have them breaking down by running backs and tight ends. Is it QB, wide receiver?
So it's going to be QBs, running backs and
QBs.
tight ends, and wide
Yeah.
receivers. All of that culminating into our first edition of our rookie mock draft for this year.
Yes, which we will be inviting guests.
So looking forward
Yes.
So
to
that is going to be so much fun. And then
Yep.
follow what our actual draft, right?
Yes.
Then yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Eventually we will get there. I haven't scheduled it yet, but we will get
So
there.
it's only ramping up from here. We've already had one crazy trade in our own first round with me getting the one from Alex and
Yeah.
Algier, which I still don't regret getting Algier.
Good, as you shouldn't. But guys, I think ain't no time like the present. Let's get this thing going.
Well, I
So-
guess speaking
All
of
right.
here,
So
our first player, Ryan.
Well, hold on. Before we do that,
Oh.
let's go into context again of our tier system. So instead of a ranked grade system like we did last year, because we felt that it didn't tell the whole story, a tier system can actually do that for us. So here are our tiers, and you'll probably see it on the screen by this point. At tier 1, we have your fantasy superstars, so the people that you will depend on for years and years to come in all draft formats. Tier 2 is our very good players. They are really good. They're not the superstars, but they will definitely help you on your way to a fantasy championship.
they're fantasy assets. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, tier 3 is our good players. They're not great, but they will definitely help you out within a season,
Potentially.
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 Our tier 4 is our average players, so your typical streamers, people that you're grabbing in and out of waiver lineups. This is where we think they're going to be. And then tier 5, you don't need to know tier 5.
They're
that is
duds.
actually, yeah, they are duds.
Unless their name is Brock Purdy.
Well, he is definitely not a tier 5, let me tell you that.
Well, he was though.
He was Mr. Irrelevant.
He wasn't even on our draft big board. So
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Again, that's another thing of why we're
Obviously
doing with this
mistakes were made.
system. Yeah, mistakes
gosh.
were made, but we also got Christian Watson kind of right, and I'm kind of excited about
Yeah,
that.
that guy's ridiculous. If he goes off with Jordan Love this year, I'm gonna have nothing but pride.
Yeah, I will wear that as a badge of honor.
All right, so starting off in tier 3, we have our high first round guys, or our high tier, our kind of mid tier and low tier. So starting at the top, we have Josh Downs, we have Jonathan Mingo, we have Rasheed Rice, Darnell Washington, Will Levis, Hendon Hooker, Jaden Reed, Cedric Tillman, Marvin Mims Jr., A.T. Perry, and Xavier Hutchinson.
All right, so that is our list for tier 3. Again, we think that these are going to be good players, but we do have a couple of things that kind of
things need to
explains
happen.
why.
Yeah, a few things
Yeah.
need to happen.
Yeah, opportunity and the team around them, especially with the quarterbacks, is where things it's a lot of external circumstances. But when it comes to Downs, Mingo, it's especially with our higher tier, it's the talent is there, but outside circumstances need to make it happen for them to even be vaulted higher into our board.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys really have to climb the depth chart. And that's the issue that we're pretty much with these guys.
Well, yeah,
is they're so far down, but they could make it. They're
100%.
more of a deeper round. Like if you're doing your rookie drafts, they're more of a deeper round
Someone to
type
take a
pick.
shot.
Someone to take a shot on and put them in your taxi squad or on your bench and leave them there for a year and see what comes of it.
Yep. And we currently have all of these players ADP for rookie drafts within rounds 3 and round 5. Basically, choose your preference. But gentlemen,
Yeah.
I have 2 questions for you. Who is your sleeper out of this group?
Are we doing sleeper and lock or just sleeper?
We're gonna sleeper and lock. Let's do both.
Ooh, if we're going sleeper, I think Will Levis is my sleeper because he still has to win the job in camp, but I don't quite think he's a lock to take over in Tennessee.
Okay, okay, I dig that. I dig that. Um, my sleeper for this kind of is no surprise for me, but I am actually going to go with Josh Downs. I think the opportunity is going to be there. I also love the player and the fit. It's just the opportunities. We'll see what happens with the Anthony Richardson led offense and led by Shane Steichen. But if there's someone who I think can definitely be vaulted past round tier 3, I think Downs is your guy.
Yeah. So I see possibly Hendon Hooker, being in a good position there in Detroit to possibly make an impact there, if he's given the starting job, whether it's through injury or he makes great strides in that offense and outperforms Goff. So there's potential there.
But it's
I
going to take time.
it's going to take
It
time,
will take time.
especially recovering from the ACL and then getting used to the verbiage of NFL systems. But he is in a good spot as that Lions team is going to be pretty nice this year. So,
Yeah,
gentlemen,
they're beefy.
yeah, that's your sleeper. But who are you most excited for out of this tier?
Darnell Washington.
Darnell Washington. That was
Yeah,
I
mine.
mean, he's
yeah,
too good. Like he's
Yeah,
so exceptional. He's going to get an opportunity, and the more opportunity that the Steelers give him, he's just going to keep getting better and better.
in the words of many people who I have mentioned on this show that I could wish we get him on, but I think the sentiment remains draft aliens and prosper. Darnell
Yeah,
Washington is an athletic alien.
draft aliens and prosper.
Absolutely. So, gentlemen, so that is our tier 3 of our big board. Let's get to tier 2. Ryan, who do we have in tier 2?
all right. So starting from the top of tier two, we've got Zay Flowers, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Michael Mayer, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnson. Stay with me. Still a lot more. Devin Kane, Chase Brown, Kendre Miller, Roshan Johnson, Israel Abanaconda, if I'm saying it
Nice.
right.
Nice job.
Zach Zach Charbonnet, Tank Dell, and Jalen Hyatt.
So of
Whew,
course
that
we
was a
get
lot of names.
Honda right, and you mispronounced Devon Achain.
Oh
Hey
my
man,
god.
all the energy went to Amanda Canada. I think the first thing noticing out of this tier, and especially how we were looking at each player, man, there's a lot of running backs. But
Yeah,
almost a lot of the running backs were picked in, I think, really good situations. I think
Yeah,
that's definitely reflected here.
no, I mean I agree, and there's a lot of opportunity I think with these guys with either suspensions looming as a little foreshadow, with injury history for some of the teams that they went to, with being the second guy in what is now a committee back NFL, that a lot of these guys will get opportunity.
Yep, quite a bit. So, gentlemen,
yeah.
who is your sleeper out of tier 2? And we have, and I will say there is, I think a lot of people are going to yell at us about Stroud as and saying, "Oh man, why?" Excuse me, as in why is he tier 2 and not tier 1? We'll explain that more in our quarterback section, but the short answer is it's the Houston Texans.
Yeah,
That's kind of our short reason. Even Anthony Richardson, it's still the Colts. There's still a lot of questions that kind of need to be answered before they can vault into tier 1, but they're high tier 2 for a reason. So back to our sleeper of tier 2. Who do y'all got?
well, really quickly on CJ Stroud too. That will no, we'll cover in QBs. Um, my sleeper is, I think think it's Michael Mayer for me. I
Well done.
I
I
really
good job, Ethan.
I mean, you guys are gonna hear about it in my spiel in the tight ends episode. I'm really excited to break him down, but I love the player. I love his film. I love where he landed, going to the Raiders. Jimmy Garoppolo is a QB that likes tight ends. He had one George Kittle that he used in San Francisco. I see Michael Mayer as having a very QB friendly skill set. So, and speaking of which, he's someone that we have with a first round draft grade. Um, so I don't know if you want to break that down a little bit
Yeah,
more.
so out of the actually that's a great job, Ethan. So we actually do have a couple of our tier 2 players that we believe are first round locks. And specifically when we say lock, we mean there should be no reason why they go past round 2, and this is based on within the draft class each year, not
We should focus
necessarily
on
a whole
players not going in round one.
yeah. There shouldn't. This is not going to be comparing like different years of draft classes. That's more for the tier system. But when they're first round locks, we definitely consider it within their draft class. Those first round locks in tier 2 are Zay Flowers, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Michael Mayer.
Michael Mayer being, if you guys don't see it on screen, I don't know what all we're going to show of the chart, but we see him going at the end of the first round, somewhere around pick
Yep.
8.
Yeah, between 8. Yeah.
Between 8 and 10. We base ours off of a 10-man league. Anthony Richardson is about 104 to 110. CJ Stroud is 103 to 106. And Zay Flowers is 105 to 110. For everyone there. I love
Yeah.
your pick of Michael Mayer. I know you've been high on him from the very beginning. So stick to your guns there.
Oh, it's trust.
See, oh, okay. I was gonna say my pick is Anthony Richardson. He's
That's
just
yeah.
he's an athletic freak.
Mhm.
And where he went, he has a potential to make waves, like Michael Vick sized waves.
Whoa.
But yeah, I know that's a big name to throw around, but he's got the athleticism for it, and if he develops his passing a little more and adjusts to the NFL, he could do great things with the
Well,
Colts.
really
So
quickly, Michael Vick is not a big name. Michael Vick is a
I
historic.
mean,
Michael Vick is
of
the name.
course, I know,
No, I just want to draw that line in the sand.
I know,
Yeah.
but
The
there
He was
was
not a
some
big
light.
player in the NFL, but he
I
did.
know, but there was light comparisons to him with Anthony Richardson before the draft, especially after his showing at the combine. So there's potential there, but we just don't know if it translates to the NFL and to an NFL system. So
But he's a great.
if we see, yeah, athleticism goes a long way, but if it translates, then cool, he's going to be great.
Yeah.
But
So
if they do how the Eagles did, not ripping off the Eagles, but that kind of here's what he's comfortable with. Let's just make sure he's comfortable at all times. They'll be successful.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. So the last sleeper is going to be me in this tier 2. I'm going deep on the sleeper. Chase Brown is my sleeper out of this tier.
Okay.
I think the opportunity and the player, I think it fits Cincy. I hate saying that as the Ravens fan, but I think Chase Brown's going to be really, really good.
Nobody
Yeah,
likes.
there's a lot of questions when it comes to Mixon, so that's a good pick.
They might all get answered, and then Chase Brown is a Samaje P. Ryan in the wind.
Wow. Wow. All right, so let's go on to our locks. So that was our sleeper. Do we have any locks for you
We
guys
have
out of this tier?
one homer lock, and then we have 2 serious locks. The serious lock being CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I am going to tell
Yeah.
y'all
Just say the homer lock.
yeah, the homer lock is Zay Flowers, but my true lock, honestly, out of this list is going to be Anthony Richardson. Largely because I think within fantasy, running running the ball and the offense that's going to be utilized in Indy from what we're expecting because they drafted Anthony Richardson, I think the rushing dynamic is going to keep Anthony Richardson very relevant when it comes to fantasy.
Oh yeah, they're gonna utilize his legs. So
Yep.
I agree with that.
Alrighty, gentlemen. We are down to round 1, and you are about to hear everyone who we have in this. They are our first round locks. They are the best of the best. Here is who we have. Our top overall tier 1 player, Bijan Robinson. And underneath that, we have Jahmyr Gibbs, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Dalton Kincaid, and Bryce Young. So, honestly, I know a lot. I think Bijan is the most Noda pick out of this bunch, but I think Kincaid's going to surprise people. But personally, I think
It's
Kincaid
going to be
just
dependent.
Yeah.
It'll be a bit dependent, but I think there's definitely something there, and the fact that the Bills traded up does speak volumes of what they want to do. But very quickly, Bryce Young as our top QB, I wouldn't say that it's not close, but I definitely think there's a couple factors that put Bryce Young into our top of the QB chart and in our tier 1 range.
And even though he's our top QB, I feel like we still really criticized him or have
Yes.
very strong criticism for him. That being, yes, he's smart. Yes, he's coming from a very friendly system in Alabama. He's got a great mentality, but I don't love the receivers on the Panthers. So he's going to have to work through that. Yes, he's dealing with Frank Reich, but just because you have a great coach and a great opportunity does not mean you become a great player. So
Sure.
that is my thing with Bryce Young.
Yeah. Definitely with Bryce Young, there are a lot of questions, but he is one heck of a player, which is why we have him in tier 1.
Right.
We talked about Kincaid, but the two running backs, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, I think we almost had a mutiny of the show if we didn't have Bijan at 1. And this is coming from the person who wanted to do said mutiny. But honestly,
But he's not my lock. He's not my lock for the guys we have in the first round.
really interesting. So you know
No,
what? Out of who's our sleeper for? Let's go with actually. You know what? This is tier
so
1.
yeah,
Who's our lock for tier 1?
it's Bryce Young. I mean, I do think he's that good, even though we have a lot of questions about him. I still believe that he can become that guy, and he's my lock. He's who I plan on drafting in our draft.
Well done, Ethan. I
Okay.
love that pick. Ryan, who's
Okay.
your lock?
Oh my gosh. See, this is a difficult one for me because all of these guys really are locks.
They all bring something different. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all in different situations too. I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm gonna say he's my lock
That's
just
fair.
because of the
Very
situation
fair.
with the Lions. He's set up for success. Their offensive
His
line
injury
is
history.
yeah, the offensive line is fantastic. He's got a great quarterback there, wide receivers that can help stretch the field for him, and they utilize the running back in their offense more than just letting him run down the field.
Mhm.
They use him. So I think he's got a lot of potential there. So I think he's my lock.
I love that pick with Jahmyr
And
Gibbs.
Brian, what range do we have him in for all the people at home?
Yes, bring that
Between
up.
between pick 3 and pick 4.
Yep,
Now,
he should
So we
be.
see
talk
him
about that
around
really
there.
quickly because I feel like that might be controversial to some.
I honestly think that he'll go number 2 or 3. Personally, I think he's going to be between. It's going to be either.
I feel like we need to justify it because I think a lot of people are like, well, you're just on a bandwagon and like, is he really that good? Is he in really that good of a situation? And until he was drafted by the Lions, my answer to those questions would have been no. Like I loved Jahmyr Gibbs. I knew he was going to be incredibly talented and good wherever he went. but with the fit and how talented he is, it just makes sense for him to shoot up draft board.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And he should have thought of yours.
we will explain it more
Yeah.
in our running backs episode, but I could not agree more with what Ethan just said. The fit is incredible, and I think with all the moves that the Lions have made in this offseason, it may with how they're going to use Gibbs and how we're projecting that, it's only going to be good things from here on out.
I would comp him to Drake London from last year. Like just a really nice fit, going to be used with a freaky skill set. Because he's a big dude, but he's fast and he can catch the ball. Not something you normally see.
Absolutely. So I'm going to bring up my lock out of this, and I understand there's touchdown dependency with it. I love the Jahmyr Gibbs pick. To be honest with you, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I love the opportunity.
I hate it.
I love the what the 2 year the 2 to 3 year window represents. I think he can win on his own, especially within the slot, and I think he'll definitely be a PPR monster for you. However, I will also bring up Dalton Kincaid. I think what the Bills are looking like what they're going to try and do. I think he's going to be heavily factored into their plans and a good target for Josh Allen within the next few years.
If he becomes their Kelsey.
Yep.
Yes.
That is the only thing. If the answer to that if is yes, then he is a first round lock. If the answer if is no, and he's just taking over the Dawson Knox role, it's like, one, why did you do that? And two, what an absolute waste of a pick.
Yeah, and we will explain that more in our tight ends portion within the running backs and tight ends episode.
Briefly, we'll touch on it.
You just don't trade up for a tight end to just do the Dawson Knox role.
Unless you're the Bills, because then you can just flex on people. We traded up, didn't do anything. For the Bills.
Yeah, we could do it. We'll
watch like 3 back-to-back Super Bowls. It's whatever.
We'll handle another divisional round exit.
It's a skill. Sorry, Bills.
We love Bills Mafia. We love Bills Mafia. So, guys, that is our 2023 big board.
No sleeper?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that is our big board. It's tier 1, Ethan.
You know what? But I just
sleeper in tier 1.
There is more about Jahmyr Gibbs or JSN, but it's okay.
Well, if you do want to hear more about JSN, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Bijan Robinson, after this episode and for the rest of the month of May, you will get to hear our in-depth analysis as to why we put these players in the tiers. You'll be able to hear why Jahmyr Gibbs is up there. Yeah. Yes, Ethan.
What will it cost me?
Absolutely nothing.
Wow.
This is totally staying in. That's totally staying in.
It's fine.
But we're going to go in depth with quarterbacks, running backs, and tight ends will be together, and then wide receivers. And then at the very end, we're going to have our rookie mock draft to see where we think these players can go.
Yes, and we hope you have not done your draft yet, because a lot is going to change from rookie minicamp.
Yeah.
The OTAs to training camp.
And we'll try to keep you guys in the loop over the next couple of weeks. I keep an eye on our social media, because I'll probably be updating whispers.
But Ryan, where can they find us?
Yeah. Well, you guys can find us at Last Place FP on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So yeah, check us out.
Check us out. And Ethan, you know what to do.
Never forget. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you are right. And
watch me win the championship this year.
Ryan, it's not.
And I can just
oh
tell you
boy,
guys to suck it.
Ryan,
oh boy,
it's not
oh
possible.
boy, oh boy.
It's not possible, Ryan.
Ryan, you just sold your soul right there. You hate to see it.
Ryan,
no,
if you
I'm
don't
not gonna
win the
win.
league this year, you're getting punished with our loser.
Yeah. Have a good one, everybody, and welcome to Rookie Month.